Hey everyone, it's Katie. I'm trying something new with my audio, so if it sounds weird, I'm sorry. I'm just trying new things here. So from the beginning of my channel, I always said that I wouldn't be a part of the book community. A lot of people that do journaling videos are also a part of the book community in YouTube, but I kind of said that I would never really do that just because I'm not a huge avid book reader and stuff. I mean, I like books, but I don't read a lot like most of the people in the book community do. But here I am doing a book video. But today I'm gonna be doing the My Favorite Books tag. I don't know if it's a real tag. I just kind of figured that you kind of make videos on YouTube and you put the word tag after them. So I have 10 books here, which are my favorite books kind of all time. Kind of right now. You never know, things change. You're gonna notice they're all kind of very similar in style. What can I say? I like what I like. I usually stick to nonfiction memoir-y writing, and I either stick to I just stick to specific kinds of books. I either like memoirs about mental illness, or I like these kind of classical books about the history of racial injustice and stuff. Part of it is just the fact that I was raised by a Black Panther. The other part of it is that memoirs about mental illness are my daily life. So here we go. Here's my 10 favorite books. Before I start, I'm going to give an honorary mention to my book. I wrote a book last year. It was for a school project. I'm an overachiever. You can't buy it. I printed 20 of them, and I'm not gonna print anymore. So now to get into the real books. I'm gonna start out with a group of 3 because they all go together. These 3 books, we have The Cancer Journals by Audre Lorde, Zami by Audre Lorde. I mean, it's actually Zami, a new spelling of my name, but I say Zami for short because why not? And Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde. Now, if you don't know who Audre Lorde is, please stop watching this video right now and go read some Audre Lorde. She's one of my favorite people to ever grace this planet, and I'm really grateful for her. She's been really inspirational in my life, in the lives of so many others. She's amazing. She's how do I explain Audre Lorde? She's this radical poet, essayist, speaker, writer. She's a Black, intersectional feminist, lesbian woman. And she's just really amazing, and she's a really fantastic writer. And so Sister Outsider is just kind of a collection of her essays and speeches. This is where most of her famous quotes are pulled from, I would say. Sister Outsider is probably my favorite, and then The Cancer Journals comes in a close second, very close second. The Cancer Journals is exactly what it sounds like. It's the journals that she kept when she was in treatment for cancer. And then this is a biomythography. Fun fact, she invented this genre. So Audre Lorde is fantastic. I freaking love her, y'all. Anyways, please read Audre Lorde. She has more books than just these 3. These 3 are my favorite of hers. I also really like Black Unicorn, but I don't have a copy of it right now. But Audre Lorde all the way. Next is this group thing. And this is 12 Years a Slave, which is a memoir. The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, which is autobiography. And then The Panther and the Lash, which is an anthology. It's a book of poems. I'm pretty sure that's called an anthology, right? I don't know. It's a book of poems. All right. 12 Years a Slave. A lot of people know it because of the movie. It's a really good movie. So I think everyone should read the book and see the movie. It's really good. And it is a memoir / autobiography. It's a memoir. I'm really bad at like genres, though. Anyways, it's amazing. It's really good. 10 out of 10. I love it. Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, written by himself. This book is iconic. It's iconic. Like, there's nothing more. Like, this book is so amazing. I think this is another book I think everyone should read it in their lifetime. Oh, man. This is actually, well, it was my Nana's copy. She gave it to me. This is a good one. This is a really good one. This is like required reading. You learn about this one in school. You should learn about it in school. It's really good. Please read it. And then, of course, this one, The Panther and the Lash by Langston Hughes. Amen. I love Langston Hughes so much. This is my favorite collection of his poems. This one has like the really famous poems. Dream Deferred is in here. Harlem is in here. Still Here is in here. Most of his most famous poems are in here. It's another iconic book. Langston Hughes is iconic in himself. He really shaped the Harlem Renaissance. He's definitely one of the best poets and writers of all time. Love Langston Hughes. Next is this category. Alright, these are like memoir type things. Some of them are fiction, most of them are not, but they're all the same kind of memoir-y. It's kind of a funny story by Ned Vizzini. Don't know if that's how you say his last name. Rest in peace, Ned. So the first time I read this, I was young. I was like 7th grade, 6th grade, I don't know. I was young. And I got about like 20, 30 pages in and I got bored and I stopped reading it. But later I sat down and I read it again and it's very good. It's really well written, like not in a way that it's like, wow, that's beautiful writing, but in a way that's like, that writing is like true to the speaker's voice, if that makes sense. It's really good. It's a really good subject. There's a movie about it. The movie isn't good. The movie is actually kind of awful, but it's good. It's a good story. It's like a coming of age type story. This is fiction, of course, but it follows like a memoir format, and that's the only kind of book I read. Next one is also fiction. This is Winter Girls by Laurie Halse Anderson. This is not a good book. It's not really well written. It's not realistic, but nevertheless, it shaped a big part of my life. So I had to put it in here. I own a copy. I love Laurie Halse Anderson. I think she's a great writer, but I think this book it's a fiction memoir type style, about a girl with anorexia. It's a good book if you've never had personal experience, but if you've had personal experience, you kind of read it and it's a little bit like a slap in the face because it's, nevertheless, I respect this book and it shaped who I am. I read this book for the first time when I was in 7th grade. It changed me a lot in not good ways. If things change me for the better or the worse, I still think that they're like an important part of my life, and this is like very sacred to me because of that. And yeah, the alternative, the good version of Winter Girls, the realistic one, the nitty-gritty one, because this one is a memoir. It says memoir on the front. I was about to say, I would go so far to say autobiography because she really hits on a lot of her life in here, but this is by Maria Hornbacher. Probably said it wrong. I don't know how to say people's names. This book is amazing. Maria's writing is the best writing, hands down, I've ever read. Her writing is like poetic and just beautiful, but also like raw and emotional, and it's really good. She's a really good writer. And like, this is another really rough read. And like, it's really tough to read it. I've never read it all the way through from front to back. But of course I've read it all in different parts. But it's really good. And like, I read the last little section here like 20, 30 times because it's really good and it's really inspiring. It's just really real. This is really true to a lot of people's experience. Oh man, it's really good. I would give this one a read. This is another book that I love. I read this for the first time, not last summer, but the summer before that. It's called Not All Black Girls Know How to Eat by Stephanie Covington Armstrong. This is a memoir. It's very good. I really like this book because it like challenges the stereotype that everyone with an eating disorder is like a white teenager. And it really hits on like racism and classism and oh man, it's a really good book. All of these books are really good except for Wonder Girls, but this is a good book. And if you want to know my least favorite book of all time, it's The American Pageant, my AP US History textbook. Anyways, that was my favorite book tag. Those were 11 of my favorite books, one of my books, and one of my least favorite books. So we really hit all the things today. Thank you for watching this. It must not have been that interesting. It really wasn't even that interesting to film, but if you're into that kind of thing. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see. I can do anything. Mostly anything. I'll see you next time, whenever that may be.